Hi friends! So today I am going to be going in depth on how I review the books that I've read. So I noticed in a lot of book reviewing notebooks and a lot of book review notepads and sticky notepads, stuff like that, they only have the dates you read it, the author, and a little summary, as well as a rating for it, as well as a spot for like the cover. Me, I like a little bit of structure when it comes to my book reviews. This means that not only will I be answering the dates I read it, the author, the summary, the rating I gave it, and why. I won't be giving a cover for my book reviews because I don't have a printer and I don't have a specialized sticker printer for said covers. So I often just put the title, who it's by, the dates I read it, what format I read it in, and so on and so forth. I'll also give a little bit of a summary, but I will also answer about 3 to 4 different questions based on how I felt about the book. So I mentioned that I had 2 notebooks for book reviews when I was doing my review of Under the Dragon Moon by Moss Hamlin, but I wanted to go a little bit more in depth about what those books contain. Obviously, these books contain the title, the author, the dates that I read it to and from, the format I read them in, as well as the genre, the generalized audience it's for, as well as the rating. Both of these notebooks also contain a summary of each book that I have read or am going to read. And most of book 1, most of my first notebook had a rating and why section, but in book 2, around later on in book 1 and further on in book 2, in notebook number 2, I stopped doing the and why section because most of the time I rate the books based on vibes. A little bit of background as to why I do this. Now, I don't know if every elementary school has done this, but at least mine did, where I had to do a book review on the different types of books that I've read. I say review, but I actually mean like we had to do a book report on whatever book we read, and we were able to choose whichever book we read. Just we had to explain what we read, what it was about, and answer a few questions of our choosing. This is essentially what I do with my own book reviews. I write a solid page-long book report about my thoughts and the summary of the book. First, let's take a look at book 1 of my review notebook. First things first, I have a little index, well, like a table of contents, if you will, on the first thing. I took slips of another notebook, that's why you see the tape here, and I just taped them to the inside of the front cover, so which is just a simple black notebook with some fabric tabs here, fabric stickers that'll stick on there. They just get a little bit gunky sometimes, so I put tape on there to protect the ink as well. So I have a little table of contents here that have the page numbers. I have 2 books on either side, so I've labeled all of the same pages all the way up to page 10. Some of them do have the same page simply because this was my first time trying out this style of review, so this was a little bit experimental. Next, I'm gonna show you what it looks like completely empty. Not like an empty page, but with the review not yet filled out, but still empty enough. We have Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. It has the title, the author, this is the format that I have it in, the page number, the amount of time it took for me to read that. So read this day to this date. And then I have the, I have the genre. I have the genre written right here, the row that I have it on a spreadsheet in, and then I have the age range, the audience that it is made for, the rating and why, and then I have a little summary about what it's about. Next, I have a full one. So notice how this is pretty much a page long. A page is really all that I need in order to review a book properly. And depending on whether or not I really liked the book, I might film a video about it or not. So in book 1, not including the summary, I answer 3 questions. First question, did you enjoy reading this book? Why or why not? Question number 2, did you want to read this book until the end? Why or why not? This question is especially prevalent for DNFs, which is what I've been trying to do a little bit more, because there's no reason for me to sit and slug through a book that I do not enjoy. Unfortunately, I do tend to enjoy most books that I read. It tends to hold my interest just a little bit, just to keep me going, just to keep me reading until the very end. So most of these books do not have a no answer or a why not reason. And question number 3, did you find this book easy or hard to read? There isn't a reason why. Like, it doesn't ask me for a reason why it was easy or hard to read. It just asks me if it was easy or hard to read. If it was hard to read, it might be a DNF, or I might have slugged through it for a very long time. Or if it was easy to read, I'll just say it was easy and then I'll give a reason just to kind of fill that thing out. And then sometimes it's a little bit of both. I will answer a mix of both, and I'll say, oh, it was easy for this audience, but it'll be hard for this audience. So there was one book that I had, I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but I did say it was easy for adults, but it will be very difficult for children, or for underage, for those under the age of 18. For the ratings, I also started off book 1 with a rating from 1 to 10. However, I started diving back into the Goodreads rating method with 1 to 5 stars. So I started doing the 1 to 5 stars for that reason, because it was a little bit more simplistic than that. I tend to not do very well when it comes to varying options of a multitude. So I don't do well with the 1 to 10 stars. Instead, I'll do 1 to 5. And sometimes I'll do the half stars or the quarter stars, just depending on how I felt about the book after I read it. And of course, once I got the hang of my book reviewing, all of those habits kind of bled into book 2. So a lot of them have similar questions, but they also have a 4th question. So here is book 2. You can see it says book 2. It says book reviews book 2. So I did the same thing. I have a little like index table of contents with the pages taken from another notebook that had perforated edges. So I just ripped those out and taped these along with like page numbers, titles. So these little slashes are one title, title number 2, and then the same thing for like the page counts. So they're on both faces, so they can be only 1 page each. This one is significantly less filled out than obviously book 1, because I'm trying to fill that one out first. but the questions are a little bit different. Here is what it looks like filled out in book number 2. So it's still a page long. There's just a lot of shorter answered questions that I can answer however I want. I also have a little thing in here where if it only has one date on there, I will mark it as a same day read in parentheses. For example, this review is of The Fourth Closet by Scott Cawthon and, Diana Camera and Keir Breed Risley. It is a comic book. So this was a comic book. It only had 192 pages, and this is the date. There's only one up there, which means it is a same day read. I have also started shortening up my summaries quite a bit to put them in my own words rather than just reading off the blurb of the back. And now on to the questions. Question number 1. What was your favorite part of the book and why? Question number 2. Were you happy with the ending of this book? Question number 3. Did you find this book easy or hard to read? And question number 4. Did you enjoy reading this book? Why or why not? Now, I know a lot of people prefer to do their book reviews in a stream of consciousness type thing, but I prefer structure with my book reviews, so I prefer to do a little book report for myself. That way I can go back and look at all the different books that I have read and have either kept or donated and realized or remembered how I felt about that particular book. In a way, this also kind of helps me keep track of rereads and other DNFs. If I have DNF'd a book, these book reports will also prevent me from going back into a book that I hated before. And that is it for how I do my book reviews. Sometimes I'll film them, sometimes I won't. But that is how I do my book reviews in 2 separate notebooks. If you guys have any questions or concerns, you can go ahead and feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I will leave all of my links and such in the description below so you can follow all of my other socials. I recently started a Blue Sky account as well as restarted my Tumblr account for those of you who still have Tumblr. I post these videos every Wednesday and I will try and stream every Thursday at noon. If I don't, I will attempt to communicate with you guys over on my posts that are on my channel, or I will try and communicate you on one of my other socials that are down in the link tree below. With that being said, I hope to see you guys tomorrow at my stream. Bye bye!